So my guy Kyle said, hey, once you get level-headed, talk more about this trade. Because obviously in that first video, I mean, I haven't watched it because I don't rewatch my videos because I'm one of these people that can't listen to themselves. But my guess is I was probably super excited and just, speed talked 500 miles an hour. So I wouldn't say I'm level-headed now, but now that the dust has settled a little bit and the reality's kicked in, I figured I could talk about this more. Plus, Andrew Berry's made a couple other moves, and it seems like there might be some more moves coming very shortly. So I'm going to talk about this, and we'll get into it. So with that being said, let's start off with the actual trade itself and break down the compensation. So to me, this is the most interesting part, right? Because all week long, all that I've been hearing and that I've been talking about and kind of speculating is what is it going to take to get Deshaun Watson? And we know that the bottom line offer had to be 3 first-round picks. And everybody was talking about, okay, we might have to part with Denzel Ward. And then there was talks of, hey, 3 first-round picks, a couple seconds, Denzel Ward, JOK, Grant Delpit's name was thrown out there. I was on Twitter Spaces with some Texans fans, and they were talking about Myles Garrett. So keep that in mind when you listen to what I have to say about this trade compensation. So the official trade itself, the Houston Texans will be receiving 3 first-round picks, 2022, which is 13 overall, the 2023 first-round pick, and the 2024 first-round pick. Now, in addition to that, the Texans receive a 2023 third-round pick and a 2024 fourth-round pick. Now, the Browns in this deal will receive, obviously, quarterback Deshaun Watson and a 2024 fifth-round pick. So, this is very interesting because my mind was completely blown to, you can't even put it into words how speechless I was when I found out that this is the trade. Because again, we're talking about all these players and all these crazy picks being involved. At the end of the day, the Browns 2022 NFL draft that's coming up in, a month? You still have all of your picks minus number 13. Now, keep in mind, you are going to get some sort of picks for Baker Mayfield. Now, his trade value has decreased, and both sides are completely to blame. Baker putting out the stuff that he's done and the leaks that have come out about him in the locker room and all that issues. And then also, obviously, the Browns side of things of, the whole we need an adult and that situation. His trade value has definitely declined. But with that being said, Baker is still a solid quarterback, right? And it's not to be taken offensive, obviously Baker's not listening to this, but the reality is he is a mid quarterback. He is somebody who, yes, when he's at his best, can play at a really high level, right? But he's got his limitations, and that is a fact. So I think the Browns will still be able to get something for Baker Mayfield. I don't know what it will be. My guess is at the very minimum a third-round pick, because you got to factor in, look at Carson Wentz, right, and what he's gotten in terms of trade. You got to look at Sam Darnold and that whole situation. So I still believe, despite all these issues, the Browns will get picks. But the one thing that I am interested in is, now that the Browns currently still have every pick minus the first-round pick, the way the roster's built right now, you're not going to use every pick, right? You're not going to have a bunch of rookies. Does Andrew Berry trade back into the first round? Or does he trade up into the high second round? Because if you're going to have all these picks on your hands, you might as well move them, because you don't have to use all of them, and you're probably not going to. So package them together, move up, and potentially grab a guy that you like. If Jameson Williams slips, like a lot of people think, go get him. If Chris Olave slips, go get him. You have nothing to lose. You have that 5th-year option, and that's kind of my biggest thing here. The Browns signed Deshaun Watson to a massive, massive extension. So Deshaun Watson has signed a $230 million fully guaranteed contract. That's 5 years, right? So keep in mind, when it comes to the draft, your first-round picks, you have that 5th-year option. My biggest complaint with the Browns and how they've structured this wide receiver room, you don't have guys here really super long. Like, a lot of your deals, I think the longest right now is probably 3 years. Really, Donovan Peoples-Jones and Anthony Schwartz are the only ones that you can count on for sure are here long. Amari Cooper, I believe, has like 2 more years on his deal, if I'm correct. I'd have to double check. But if you make this massive investment in Deshaun Watson, and you need to go out and get a guy that you can kind of pair with him, that you know for 5 years at least they will be together. I think that makes a ton of sense. I really don't know who they would go get, right? Because the perfect fits for this offense, in my opinion, are Garrett Wilson, who obviously is off the board by now, Chris Olave, Jamison Williams. Now, I think Treylon Burks, even though he had a horrible combine, I could see the Browns going out and, possibly getting a guy like Treylon Burks, just because now you have the quarterback position solidified. You can go take a risk on a guy like that. I wouldn't be completely surprised if that was a move they made. Now, with that being said, if you're going to move up, I hope they go out and they get a Jahan Dotson, a Jamison Williams, or a Chris Olave. It'll be interesting, right, to see how these guys fall. So that's something that I'm kind of factoring in here, right? So that's going to be interesting to wait and see, because the Browns have already gone out and signed Jakeem Grant, who's really more of a return guy. Now, allegedly, I had heard that a part of their pitch of signing him was that they're going to try to play him in the slot a lot. Or a lot more than he's gotten an opportunity to in the past. So that's interesting. We know the Browns are likely going to sign Will Fuller. They're out with talks with Jarvis Landry, trying to convince him to come back. I don't know that happens, to be honest with you, because I think based on the wide receiver market, I think Jarvis is going to want more. Now, Jarvis was trying to sign with Atlanta, or I should say he was interested in signing with Atlanta at the time when Deshaun Watson seemed like he was a lock to go to the Falcons. So I want Jarvis back. I really do. I think that you were on this team during a time where it was really hard. It was a culture change. I would hate for Jarvis to leave right when the team takes that next step and goes to that next level and really becomes a Super Bowl contender. So I hope he can come back, but at the end of the day, I think Will Fuller will 100% be a Cleveland Brown. But we'll just have to see on Jarvis. Now, Clowney is almost a lock to come back. Everything I've been hearing is that they're super close on a deal. He was waiting to see where Watson goes, and now that he's in Cleveland, Clowney already loved playing opposite of Myles Garrett. The Browns have a need there. It just makes too much sense to me. I would say that's going to happen. But getting off of that, just talking about Deshaun Watson and his impact on this team. What does this mean? So, you basically had a team, well, it's not basically, you did have a team that was completely set and ready to win now, right? This is the stuff that I've been saying for a long time. This is why I didn't believe that Baker Mayfield was going to be the starter next year. Because you literally have built this team to completion, just about. And you're not going to waste career years of Nick Chubb and Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward. You're not going to have this roster forever. So I couldn't imagine that they would go into next year with Baker with all the headaches and everything that's happened. I just could not see it happening. So that's why I've been saying Baker's done in Cleveland. I said after that Pittsburgh game, you have seen Baker's last game. And I'm not saying that as a victory lap. I'm just saying I think the writing's been on the wall for a while now. And it just makes a lot of sense for the Browns to go out and make a move like this. Now, with that being said, obviously you gave up the draft capital that you did, which I think is pennies on the dollar in terms of what the Texans could have gotten. Now, Deshaun Watson's no trade clause at the end of the day was really the deciding factor here. Because if he's going to go to a team, he's not going to want to go to a team where you have to give up every good player you have. That was just not going to happen. If he wanted to win, he would not have done that. So Cleveland was the best opportunity in terms of ready to win, best case to win, and winning cures all. It just makes too much sense. And again, Andrew Berry being an African-American GM, sitting across the table next to a successful African-American quarterback in a bad spot right now, it just made too much sense. If he could get his foot in the door, which he did, my thing was Andrew Berry's going to knock this out of the park. And per all reports, the meeting went well. And obviously it had to have because he's here. But the Browns and Jimmy Haslam was willing to do something that other teams weren't. And that was open up your checkbook and say, listen, we want you, write a number down. And I think the fact that that happened, Deshaun, I'm not going to say he doesn't want to play in Cleveland, but it probably was not his number one choice. By all accounts, that's the truth. So, you get that number fully guaranteed. It's a great situation in terms of winning. You trust the GM. The owner has shown that he's confident in you enough that he wrote that massive, massive check for $230 million. If I got that correct, I have to pull that back up. Fully guaranteed for 5 years. So, I don't know. I just think at the end of the day, that's what got it done. But what Deshaun Watson's impact on the Browns will be is, again, I know I've said this a couple times, but I keep forgetting, I keep trailing off. You just brought a top 3 quarterback, and I know people are going to be saying, what do you mean top 3? Like, there's some people who believe that Deshaun Watson is overrated. The last time we saw Deshaun Watson on the field in 2020, completion percentage 70.2, that's third in the NFL. Pass yards 4,823, first. Pass yards per attempt 8.9, first in the NFL. Pass touchdowns to interception ratio 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, tied for third place. Passer rating 112.4, that's second. The last time that we saw Deshaun Watson on an NFL field, he was top 3 in every category. And in 2 of the categories, he was first. In 1 of the categories, he was second. And 2 of the other categories, he was third. So it's not like he was first in one of these things and was third in the rest. The last time we saw Deshaun Watson, he was being talked about as possibly one of, if not the best quarterback in the NFL. I'm not saying he's the best quarterback in the NFL, but I firmly believe he's top 3. Now, he might be rusty, right? But I truly believe that in this time, he's fully focused now on playing football. At this time in his life, he's got to be understanding that this is a second chance, and you have a team that was willing to do all of this to go get you. I don't know. I feel like this is going to be a great situation, right? For him, for the Browns, I think it's going to be perfect. Now, Deshaun Watson has got to realize, though, that he's got to be completely straight and narrow here, right? Because winning cures all, but if you come out and you're kind of like, they paid me here, I'm just here to play football, but I'm going to do what I want, then it's going to probably not go so well. But all accounts say that he's focused on getting involved in the community, straightening his life out, whatever. So I think it's going to be good. But basically right now, everybody's kind of saying, hey, is Kevin Stefanski going to change his offense? No, Kevin Stefanski's not going to change his offense. What he's going to do is evolve his offense. Baker Mayfield, it really sucks, but the reality is he limited Kevin Stefanski a lot. And Deshaun Watson has never had this offensive line. He's never had this run game. And sure, he's probably played with better receivers, but I think by the time that we are at the start of the season, this wide receiver core is going to be really good. And you combine that with a defense that was really turning it on towards the end of the year. And you're going to get guys. You already added a couple pieces, but I believe more is coming. I think Jadeveon Clowney for sure. This team is loaded. I said it on Twitter. Andrew Berry is literally building a super team in front of your eyes, and people don't realize it. Now, with that being said, Deshaun Watson is the best quarterback in the AFC North. I understand Joe Burrow is a great quarterback. I understand Lamar Jackson is a very talented quarterback. No disrespect to Mitch Trubisky, but you're not in that top 3. I'm not even going to consider you. But I firmly believe that Deshaun Watson's the best quarterback in the North. And when you combine that with the roster around him and what he's got to work with now, we're in a great spot. The Browns are legitimate Super Bowl contenders now. You have all of these, and this is the best part. I talked about the wide receiver room and not knowing for a fact that you have guys long term. Defensively, it's almost the opposite, right? You have JOK locked up for a long time. You have Greg Newsome locked up for a long time. Grant Delpit, John Johnson, Myles Garrett. You have a lot of great pieces that you know are going to be here. So to me, this is what you had to do. You have this fantastic team. Are you going to waste it? Yes or no? Clearly the answer is no. You go out and you get an elite quarterback and you're ready to light it up now. So I know I kind of rambled a lot here, but man, this is incredible. I mean, this is truly highway robbery. To give up 3 first-round picks, a third, and a fourth, I believe it was that, to get Deshaun Watson is unbelievable. Now, I'm not even going to talk about the moral side of things in this video, but if you're a Browns fan, in terms of on the field right now, you have got to realize what you have. And I don't think Cleveland really truly realizes what they have now. So, the Browns are a legitimate team right now. And yes, you are going to be going up against a gauntlet of teams in the AFC. But you now have a roster that was already stacked with a quarterback now who can go toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes, can go toe-to-toe with Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Russell Wilson. This is fantastic. This is literally a dream if you're a Browns fan. So I can't wait. I can't wait. I am so excited for what's to come. And this is only the beginning. Now that you have the number one most important piece locked up, things will fall into place. So, Andrew Berry's not done. Oh, I forgot to say, so Jacoby Brissett, I just want to say this quick. The fact that they got a pick for Case Keenum, even though it was a 7th-round pick, is insane and amazing to me. So I think Jacoby Brissett, if Deshaun Watson is suspended, is the perfect backup to have, because this is a guy that can be the warm-up for a Deshaun Watson offense, right? It's a guy that can really push the ball downfield a lot more than a guy like Case Keenum could. He's got a lot of starting experience in the NFL. I think it's a great fit. So, anyway, I know this is kind of a ramble and everything like that, but with that being said, that's kind of more of my in-depth thoughts on Deshaun Watson. But anyway, let me know your thoughts. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.